The drag race community lives for controversy. That's what gets people talking and clicking and tweeting all about Drag Race. And that's what today's video is all about. Welcome to Wild Spear. Today we'll be talking about the most controversial winner results in Drag Race history. Across all of the franchises in Drag Race, there have been dozens of winners crowned, and each time that Drag Race crowns a winner, it comes with a varying level of controversy. I will say, most of the time, we generally know who's going to win, or have a good idea of who the winner is going to be once we go into that finale. But sometimes it's really a surprise, or a sizable part of the fan base is outraged with the result. And that's what we'll be talking about today. My channel is usually about rankings here on Wild Spear, but today I just want to go over all of the winners that were controversial at the time of crowning. And no, this doesn't mean queens that are controversial in real life, rather the result of the crowning was controversial. You won't be seeing Sharon Needles on this list, that's for another list. In the Drag Race fandom, everyone has their favorite going into the finale, but generally it's pretty clear who the winner is going to be. And even on the close seasons like Season 7, Drag Race did set up Violet as a viable winner going into that finale, so when she won, it made sense. When I'm talking about controversial winner results, there are really three key types of winner controversy, in my opinion. The first type is that the fans just liked a losing queen better. The second one is that the frontrunner to win was eliminated earlier in the season, and that usually happens on All Stars. And last, the winner wasn't given a storyline that made sense so that their win would be satisfying to fans. Today, I'm going to talk about all the queens that sort of fit into each of those different categories. Before we start today, I just want to say that each of the queens that ended up winning their seasons deserve to win the crown for one reason or another. This list is simply just to discuss the fan reaction at the time of each of those wins. Let's start by diving into the regular seasons of Drag Race. I would say that most of the time for the regular seasons, the winner was not controversial. In many of the cases where the fan favorite going into the finale ends up losing to another queen, the queen that ends up being crowned is a deserving winner. Think about the first season of Drag Race. The winner was BeBe Zahara Benet, but Nina Flowers was the queen who was the fan favorite going into the finale. This result may be a little bit controversial, but generally, people understood why BeBe won over Nina. The very first season that I think we had a controversial winner result was on Season 2, when Tyra Sanchez defeated Raven for the crown. The second season of Drag Race is what I would consider a season where fans just wanted a different queen to be crowned. Tyra was the villain of the season, and she didn't appear great in the edit or to fans. Raven, on the other hand, was a queen who was able to improve throughout the season and ended up being one of the frontrunners going into the finale. Tyra, however, had the better track record and never fell into the bottom the entire season. She definitely had enough credit to win the season and deserved to, but fans just didn't want her to win, and that's why this was the very first controversial result. After Season 2, we go through quite a few seasons where the winner is pretty much expected going into the finale. The Season 3 finale, where it was going to be Manila or Raja, really Raja was the frontrunner. On Season 4, it was obviously going to be Sharon Needles. Season 5, Jinx Monsoon, obviously. Bianca Del Rio was the obvious frontrunner for Season 6. When we got to Season 7, we had a very close finale between Ginger Minj, Pearl, and Violet Chachki. But I think at the end of the day, when Violet was crowned, there were some people who were upset it wasn't Ginger, but they generally understood at least why Violet was crowned the winner. They think for the most part it was maybe controversial because people wanted Katya to win, but that's another story. I think that one I'm going to leave off my list. We really didn't have another controversial winner until we hit Season 9 with Sasha Velour. Sasha's win on Season 9 was pretty unique, and that's just because it was the very first lip sync for the crown. Going into the finale, we had never had a lip sync for the crown, and we didn't really know what that was going to entail. I think we all thought there would be some reveals and things that would come during the lip syncs for the crown, But we still didn't really believe that someone like Sasha could lip sync her way past Shea Coulee to win the crown. Shea was the driving force for the season, had the most wins, and really was the expected winner going into that finale. Sasha only had 2 wins compared to Shea's 4, but Sasha's 2 wins were shared wins with Shea. I don't think many people thought Sasha was going to be the winner going into that finale. When we got to the lip sync for the crown though, Sasha annihilated the competition through and through, and deserved to win the crown. This though wasn't enough to stop many of the detractors of Sasha to say she only won due to these reveals, and she wasn't a deserving winner of the entire season. That's why this finale fits into the controversial scenarios where the frontrunner was eliminated before the final, or before, in this case, the final lip sync. Since then, we've had more lip syncs for the crown, but the producers have been a lot more careful than they were this first go around. Think about season 10. When Aquaria competed against Eureka, many fans thought that she had lost that lip sync, and we've even heard stories that the people that were watching in the finale said that they were chanting Eureka's name after that lip sync. The producers knew they couldn't lose their frontrunner Aquaria after a bad lip sync, so they made it a double win and sent them both to the finale. On season 9, they didn't do that, and that's why we have Sasha as a controversial winner result. Moving past season 9, there are only a couple of controversial winner results left. Season 10, Aquaria was the winner, and she was the frontrunner going into that finale. Despite having a little bit of help on that lip sync, it wasn't a controversial result to have Aquaria win. Season 11, I feel like the fans knew Yvie Oddly versus Brooklyn Hytes was going to be the final 2, or at least one of them would win the crown, and that's what ended up happening. Either one would be a non-controversial winner. The same, unfortunately, can't be said for Season 12. Season 12 is an amazing season, but it was a season that was marred in controversy from the very start. And that was due to the disqualification of one of the contestants who made the finale before the finale aired. It's hypothesized that this contestant had a storyline that was going to be set up between Gigi Goode in sort of an old school drag versus new school drag finale. That really put a huge impact on what this season would entail and set us up for a controversial winner result. This season also had to deal with COVID, which led to us having the at-home lip sync for the crown, which also played a factor here. Going into the finale, the frontrunner was clearly Gigi Goode. She had the most wins, and the judges seemed to love her. However, I think the fans really underestimated Jaida Essence Hall, because she had nearly as good of a track record as Gigi, but she wasn't given as much credit or love from the fandom. When Jaida went on to win the crown, this was a controversial result. This is where I would categorize in sort of that third category, that the producers didn't give the winner enough of a storyline to show the fans why they deserve to win the crown. I think this has a lot to do with what I mentioned earlier with Gigi Goode having that storyline against the eliminated contestant, Scary Pie, which led to a lot of her storyline being cut from the season. A lot of fans, unfortunately, and I don't know if I would even call these people fans, brought up the fact that the George Floyd protests were taking place at the same time that this finale aired, and they were using that to justify why Jaida won over Gigi. Which I think is really unfortunate because Jaida certainly deserved the crown and had an amazing performance on the season of Drag Race. And those types of fans are not really the fans that should be watching Drag Race. At the end of the day, all of these factors led to a controversial finale for season 12, and left Jaida with a finale that she certainly deserved better from. From season 13 to season 15, the frontrunner going into the finale won the crown. Simone was the frontrunner, Willow Pill was the frontrunner, and Sasha Colby was the frontrunner. All of these were not controversial results. The final controversial season finale from the regular seasons of Drag Race was season 16, the most recent season. This is where Nymphia Wind was crowned the winner. Going into the finale, we had Plain Jane, who was sort of the redemption villain story of the season. We had Saphira Crystal, who was the consummate professional frontrunner throughout the entire season. And then we had the off-the-wall, quirky fashion queen Nymphia Wind, who somehow was able to do amazing on almost everything this season. As the finale got closer, it became more and more clear that probably Saphira was going to win the crown. That was until the finale itself. Nymphia came out swinging and had the best solo number, plus out lip-syncing Saphira for the crown, and ended up winning this season. The problem was, Nymphia was very invisible for a large portion of the season. There were weeks on end where she had 1 or 0 confessionals, and ended up with less confessionals than some of the queens who went out in 6th, 7th, or even 9th place. Nymphia's win falls into the 3rd category, just like Jada, that the producers didn't give her enough of a storyline to warrant her win. This led to fans saying that Saphira was robbed of the crown, because honestly we didn't hear much about why Nymphia deserved to win the crown until the very end of the season. In the final 2 episodes, Nymphia sort of came alive after being kind of overlooked throughout the middle portion of the competition. Since then, I think fans have mostly come around on Nymphia's win in a way that we haven't done for some of the other queens on this list, and Nymphia has gotten the sort of win redemption that she deserved. That's all that I have to say about the regular seasons of Drag Race. Like I said, for the most part, you know who's going to win, or you have a good idea of who the winner's going to be going into that finale. All-Stars, though, can be all over the place. When we move into these All-Star seasons, you'll see a trend when it comes to these controversial winner results. I think you probably know who's going to appear on this list, but here's a quick preview for you.
I'm going home.
Manila.
All-Stars 1 was generally not a controversial season. Chad had killed the competition and rightfully beat out Raven. I think the controversy is, why was Chanel not in the top 2 with Chad when they had the same amount of wins? But I think season 2 had a little bit more controversy, with Alaska beating out Katya for the crown. I think most fans generally understood that Alaska was going to win the crown, but they just really loved Katya, and I mean, what's not to love? It wasn't until All-Stars 3 that we really got a controversial result. With All-Stars and the voting twist, there's all sorts of controversy that might take place. All-Stars 3 set us up for controversy that I don't even think we had expected we could have. That was, of course, when BenDeLaCreme, the frontrunner of the competition, one of the most successful queens in the history of the show, eliminated herself in 6th place. This led to a lot of scrambling among the producers and fans to determine who really was the deserving winner of the season. The fans generally moved on to the consensus that Shangela deserved to win the crown due to her track record, but the jury twist ended that, and this ended up with Trixie Mattel winning the season, which was extremely controversial at the time. This certainly falls into that second category where the frontrunner was eliminated prior to the finale and led to a controversial result. We're going to see the same thing the very next season on All-Stars 4 when Naomi Smalls eliminated Manila Luzon prior to the finale. This again led to fans and producers scrambling to see who might be deserving of the crown going into that finale. And it ended up with the double crowning, which was even more controversial in itself. Fans, I think at the time, were pretty split on whether Monet's finale performance was more deserving than Trinity's overall season performance to earn the crown. With Manila being eliminated early, all bets were off, and a controversial finale was going to take place regardless of who the winner was. I think now, looking back, they made the right call. Both Trinity and Monet were deserving of the crown, and have shown today why they were deserving winners. But at the time, this was more controversial than Reba's legendary red dress. So, think about that. The remaining All-Star seasons are generally not super controversial. All-Stars 5, Shea Coulee won the crown the second she was announced in the cast reveal, so no controversy on that one. All Stars 6, we had Kylie Sonique Love winning the crown over the most likely other contestant to win, Raja O'Hara, which may be a little bit controversial, but not really anything that was super crazy at the time. The final controversial lip sync result from All Stars I'm going to include here is All Stars 7. And I know what you're probably thinking. Jinkx was going to win no matter what going into that finale, and you are correct. I think what happened during that finale is what made it even more controversial. All Stars 7's finale featured the familiar lip sync for the crown, where we had Jinkx Monsoon, the fan favorite, lip syncing against Monét X Change to Katy Perry's Swish Swish for some reason. The controversy arose when Jinkx stopped lip syncing to watch Monet lip sync the rap verse in the song. Look at the way they edited this clip.
Mirror, mirror, who's the fairest bitch in all the land? Swish, swish, bish.
They just completely cut out the entire verse and didn't even try to hide it. When one of the contestants in a lip sync for the crown stops lip syncing to watch the other contestant and then ends up winning the lip sync, something is wrong here. And I think the producer saw this. If you watch it back now, when RuPaul says, based on your lip sync performance and your performance throughout the season, the Queen of Queens is, the camera cuts away just as RuPaul says your performance throughout the season. It feels like they redubbed or re-added that line in, and it wasn't said originally because they wanted to crown Jinkx, or wanted to leave the option to crown Jinkx, even though she lost that final lip sync. Going into that finale, I think there was a less than 0% chance that anyone other than Jinkx was going to win the season, but as time has gone on, fans look back more and more and wonder what was the point of lip syncing for the crown if it doesn't end up mattering. And just to round us out here, the final All-Stars season at the time of making this video was All-Stars 8, where Jimbo defeated Kandy Muse, and there was no controversy there. Even if I thought Jessica Wilde was robbed, I knew that Jimbo was going to win the season the second the cast reveal was announced. That's my list of controversial finale results. Did I remember Drag Race history correctly? I've been watching since the very beginning, but my brain, as I get older, starts to misremember things. So please let me know if I was incorrect on any in the comments, and stay tuned for more amazing Drag Race stuff and Reba references here on Wild Spear.